Right now, someone could tell exactly what you are looking at. You didn't say a word, you didn't turn your head, and yet the direction of your attention is pouring out of your face like a quiet signal you never agreed to send. Why can you do something almost no other animal on Earth can do? Look at a friend. Watch their eyes, not your face. When their gaze slides half an inch to the left, you feel it. You follow it before you even decide to. You know they just glanced at the door, the clock, the stranger who walked in. You read it in an instant, and you read it without effort. Now here is the strange part. You are the only kind of creature that leaks this information so openly, and you leak it on purpose. The reason is sitting in the corner of your eye. It is the white part, the sclera. You have looked at it your whole life and never thought about it. But that band of white around your colored iris is one of the rarest things in the animal kingdom. It is a piece of anatomy that quietly rewired how your entire species lives. Think about what the white does. It turns your eye into a target with a moving center. Against the bright background, your dark iris becomes easy to track. Anyone watching can draw a line straight out from your pupil and land on whatever you are staring at. Your eyes have become a pointing device you can never fully switch off. Almost no other animal has this. In the late 1990s, two researchers in Japan, Hiromi Kobayashi and Shiro Koshima, decided to actually measure it. They studied the eyes of dozens of primate species, from tiny lorises to gorillas, more than 80 kinds in all. They looked at the shape of the eye, the width of the exposed area, and the color of the sclera, and they found something clean and startling. Humans were the outlier. We had the widest exposed eyeball, stretched sideways into a long horizontal slot, and we were essentially the only ones with a sclera that was reliably white. They noticed something else too. The human eye is not just white, it is unusually wide for its height, as if evolution stretched it out to make horizontal glances, left and right, as easy to read as possible. The shape and the color work together. One exposes the eye, the other makes the dark center pop against it. It is almost as if we were designed to be watched. Every other species did the opposite of us. They hid. A gorilla's sclera is dark, often brown, blending into the iris and the surrounding skin. From a distance, you can barely tell where a chimpanzee is looking without watching its whole head swing around. Their eyes are built for camouflage. Ours are built for display. Why would that ever be a good idea? Stop and feel how dangerous it is. In the wild, where you look is priceless information. It shows a predator you have spotted it. It shows a rival which fruit you are about to grab. It reveals your fear, your plan, your target, a full second before your body moves. For almost every animal alive, giving that away is a mistake that gets you killed. So evolution should have painted your eyes dark. It should have hidden your gaze like everyone else's. Instead, it did the exact opposite. It lit your eyes up and aimed them outward for the whole tribe to read. That only makes sense in one situation. It makes sense if the creatures around you are not mostly threats. It makes sense if they are mostly helpers. This is the idea a scientist named Michael Tomasolo turned into a theory. Working at the Max Planck Institute in Germany, Tomasolo proposed what he called the cooperative eye hypothesis. The claim is simple and a little breathtaking. Your visible white eyes evolved because your ancestors became so deeply cooperative that revealing your attention stopped being a danger and started being a gift. In a species of rivals, a readable eye is a weakness. In a species of partners, a readable eye is a tool. It lets a mother and a baby lock on to the same object without a sound. It lets two hunters coordinate across a clearing with nothing but a look. It lets a whole group share one focus in an instant, silently, faster than any word could travel. The white of your eye is not a flaw in your camouflage. It is the physical proof that you come from creatures who bet their survival on trusting each other. Picture what that bought them. A band of early humans stalking prey through tall grass, unable to speak without giving themselves away. One of them spots the animal, a flick of the eyes, and the others know. No sound, no gesture, no movement a target could catch. The group moves as one mind with many bodies. A troop of animals that had to hide its gaze could never do that. Your ancestors could, because they had stopped hiding. And there is an experiment that shows this wiring switching on before you could even talk. In 2007, Tomasello and his colleagues ran a study comparing human infants with great apes. They sat in front of them and moved their attention to a spot, and they measured what the watchers used to follow along. The apes, they found, mostly followed the head. When the experimenter kept their head still but moved only their eyes, the apes often missed it. The human babies did the reverse. When the head stayed still and only the eyes moved, the babies still followed the eyes. Before language, before walking, a human infant was already treating the eyes as the thing that mattered most. You were born reading eyes. You never had to learn it. It came pre-installed. Because for your ancestors, missing what someone was looking at could mean missing the meal, or the danger, or the meaning. That is where language itself may begin. Before a baby can say a word, it points, and it looks, and it checks whether you are looking too. That silent triangle, me, you, and the thing we are both watching, is the ground floor of every conversation you have ever had, and it runs on eyes. Now let this settle over your daily life, because it is everywhere once you see it. It is why a baby stares into a parent's eyes, and the parent feels it like a physical pull. It is why a stranger's glance across a train car can feel electric or threatening. It is why you can lie with your words, but struggle to lie with your gaze, and why the phrase, "look me in the eye," is the oldest test of honesty we have. It is why sunglasses feel like a small superpower, a way to finally hide the one thing your species was built to reveal. Poker players know it. They cover their eyes for a reason. They are fighting 1,000,000 years of design. It is in the job interview where you force yourself to hold a gaze you want to drop. It is in the first date where two people keep catching each other's eyes and looking away. It is in the teacher who can silence a room by simply looking at it. And it is in the strange exhaustion of a video call, where the camera and the screen never quite line up, so you can look at someone or seem to look at them, but never both. Your ancient eyes are trying to do their job, and the technology keeps breaking the connection they were built for. And it is not only where you look, it is the eye itself. A more recent researcher, Juan Olvido Perea Garcia, has studied the subtle colors in the human sclera, the faint redness and the way it shifts. That tiny redness can carry signals too, of tiredness, of emotion, of health. Your eye is not just telling people where your attention is. It is broadcasting how you are, in a language older than any word. Here is the part that turns the whole thing over. We usually think of privacy as natural, and exposure as the modern problem. We worry about cameras and screens and the feeling of being watched. But your eyes tell the opposite story. The deepest, oldest technology for being seen is built into your own face. Long before there was a single lens pointed at you, your ancestors were already living transparently, letting the group read their attention moment by moment. We did not lose our privacy to the modern world. We gave up a certain kind of privacy long ago in exchange for something we needed more. We chose to be readable. We chose to be a species you could trust because you could see what it was thinking. That is a strange kind of courage. Every other primate protects its gaze. You wear yours out in the open, all day, to everyone. So think about the last time you felt truly understood without saying anything. A shared look across a room. The moment two people notice the same thing and just know. That is not a small thing.
That is the exact ability your white eyes were built for, firing perfectly, doing the job it was designed to do across 1,000,000 years. And think about the cost of it too. Because you can be read, you can also be caught. The glance you didn't mean to give, the person you looked at a half-second too long, the eyes that filled and gave you away when you were trying so hard to seem fine. Your face has no off switch for this. That is the deal your ancestors struck, and you inherited every part of it, the connection and the exposure together. So here is the question, and it is a real one. If you could keep the whites of your eyes and stay part of the great human web of glances and shared attention, or trade them for a perfect dark gaze that no one could ever read, which would you actually choose, the connection or the privacy? Because your ancestors already answered it for you, long before you were born. They chose to be seen. Right now, someone could tell exactly what you are looking at. You know that now. And you know it was never an accident, never a flaw, never a leak. It was an invitation, painted into your eyes 1,000,000 years ago, from a species that decided the greatest advantage on Earth was to be understood.